Hey traders, Raghee here. Happy Monday, and we are taking a look at the markets about 12 minutes before the close, and what a session it's been. Not because it's been bullish or bearish, but because of, once again, Friday's larger than historical volatility move has now been met with another pretty high, not as high as Friday, but another pretty high historical volatility move. So first of all, what is historical volatility? This is a part of trading that I have used for almost a decade at this point, both end of day and intraday. And what it is a study that looks back 6 months and says, well, given a certain 6-month look at the market, whatever 6 months preceded the day you're looking at it, what has the typical price movement been? We also do this, some of you might know from my day trading classes, we also do this with intraday action. What is the typical price movement range from 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, etc.? Well, that's sort of the angle that I want to talk to you all about here in this update, because a lot of times these types of moves are jarring to traders until they understand who and when the move started. Who started the move and when did it occur? So here is the Sunday open, and you can see the markets opened up Sunday quite strongly. So after we had the Friday sell-off, come the Asian Open, so think Auckland, Sydney, Tokyo, Hong Kong, Singapore, we had bullishness right off the bat. Then the markets just sort of levitated. Now, here's what's interesting. We did not rally with the European and the UK Open. We did not even rally as the US was pouring itself its first cup of coffee here right around 7 a.m. Eastern. So the heavy lifting was done with the Asian session open Sunday. The continuation came really, you can see just how back and forth most of the action was today, the 29th, until right around 10:30. That is right around your initial balance low. We actually took that low out by a hair and tested a VWAP. Off we went. I'm not saying the VWAP was the reason. I'm not saying the initial balance was the reason. I'm not saying that we pretty much matched up with the about 4:55 a.m. low. But when you look at different kinds of support and resistance, and you have all of these stacking together, and the market has been chopping really all morning long, and we get down to a layer of support, and we get down to a layer of support, and this could be considered oversold and chop, well, you're sure not going to short there, right? So if there was any place where it made sense for the buyers, the bulls, to dig their heels in, you can see where they did. And then that was pretty much the move from 10:30 to about 12:30, about a 2-hour move. And then we've been levitating ever since. Now, the big question is, do we stay here? We still have one more trading day to go in November. And I'll tell you this, if we get weakness tomorrow, the idea that turnaround Tuesday always has to be bullish is not necessarily true. If we get weakness tomorrow, Tuesday, I will consider buying that, as long as we do not take out the Friday trading, the low that we traded on Friday. Now, let's also do one more thing, and that is, please let's not look at these three indices the same way. The Dow is disproportionately going to be sold off when we have a variant, a COVID variant narrative. The S&P, because it shares many of the same sectors as the Dow, is going to also be weak. But it's going to be lifted by the NAS, which is typically going to be the best place to look for opportunity when the reason for the sell-off surrounded the COVID narrative. So we're going to look in order of bullishness: NASDAQ, S&P, and maybe Dow. That means the sectors that we're going to look at are also going to follow that same preference for the NASDAQ index, followed by the S&P index, to be the stronger of the two. So dips in either one of those, I'm game. So here's where I'm looking for those Tuesday dips if we get them, and then I'll be opportunistic on that. I'll see you in the next update.
Without simpler trading, I could not have financial independence.
This is one of the best investments I ever made in my life.
It's helping me find consistency.
It's one of the things that won me